So we are now being warned that a new deadly outbreak could pose a global threat. I want to address why this is, what virus has now hit the people, and what this means for you and I here in the United States. The one thing I can tell you is this virus is already in the United States, and the CDC has put out a new warning. So I'll break down what's going on there. I will talk about this virus, who it impacts, what the symptoms are, and why some are extremely worried, because for people of a certain nation, this is about a 10% risk of death. So I'm going to break all this down in just a moment. All I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So one of the biggest concerns that the American people have is, how is this impacting us? Is this something that we need to be concerned with? Well, just listen to this right here.
Cases have spiked in New York City since October. The Department of Health says the city has averaged 36 new cases per month since October. Cases peaked in January with 51. A total of 256 cases have been reported from October through April 15th.
That's just the start. That is in New York. Okay? So 36 new cases per month. It peaked in January with 51. There's been 256 cases confirmed from October to April 15th. 73 people have been unvaccinated, and some of the symptoms were fever, headache, exhaustion, and rash. Now, this is Mpox. Mpox is the new deadly outbreak, according to the CDC. They say this could pose a global threat. But I want to address some of those issues and some of the questions. One of the questions that I know I had when I first started reading about this was, well, what is it? What is Mpox? Because it sounds like monkeypox to me. Well, let's read that. It says, what is Mpox? Mpox is an infectious disease caused by the monkeypox virus. It typically causes a rash and flu-like symptoms, including body aches, fever, chills, headache, and fatigue, though it can be fatal, particularly for people with compromised immune systems. Now, I want to just show you this, okay? This is the monkeypox or Mpox symptoms. Fever, headache, muscle aches and backache, swollen lymph nodes, chills, exhaustion, and a rash that can look like pimples or blisters. You can see a little bit of it right here. Obviously, that would be concerning. You should probably go and see a doctor. But many people that don't have insurance or that are unvaccinated and are concerned that they may have the one thing that they're not vaccinated for, they opt to not go to the doctor. And hopefully it just goes away. This is a problem. Here's what's happening now, and this is why this is turning into an even bigger problem. It says, what's happening now? The deadlier of two forms of the Mpox virus, known as Clade 1, has driven cases in the DRC, that's the Dominican Republic of Congo, to a record high. Nearly 20,000 suspected Mpox cases were diagnosed there between January 1st, 2023 and April 14th, 2024, according to the recent CDC report. Almost 1,000 people died of the infection, and more than 2/3 of those were children. It says right here, Clade 1 has a considerably higher mortality rate than Clade 2, which hit the U.S. in 2022, killing up to 10% of the people who contracted it, compared to 3.6% or less of those infected with the milder form of Mpox. Keep in mind, Clade 1 has a considerably higher mortality rate. That is the one that they are concerned with. That is also the one that has driven cases in the Dominican Republic of Congo. Okay? Look at this. Or the Democratic Republic of Congo. Look at this. It says 46% of refugees arriving to Ohio are from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Now, not everybody that comes from the Democratic Republic of Congo has Mpox. Let's just be very clear. Okay, it's highly unlikely, but that is part of the concern is what do we do? We can't shut down the border. President Biden is going to do that. We can't force everyone to go get a vaccine. Nobody's going to do that, right? You go and say, no, it's mandatory. You have to go and get the vaccine. People are going to push back. They're going to revolt. They're going to protest. They'll riot. That's what we're going to see. And so right now, I wanted to bring this to your attention because this is starting to become a new thing. It's spreading. It is unfortunately spreading, and the discussions that are being had are, how do we protect the people? Well, one of the problems is it's spreading in places like New York. I've seen articles in Illinois. That's another hot spot for migrants that are coming in through the U.S. southern border. They're making their way up to Illinois, specifically Chicago, and making their way into New York City. These are places that they like to go to because they have more, little more, presence there. People are willing to give them food and housing and shelter. I give them, health care if they need it. And so, what I find interesting at this time is that the CDC put this out there and just warning people that this is a new outbreak. This is a new deadly outbreak that is posing a global threat, not just here in the United States, globally. So keep that in mind. And as more people come into the United States from other countries, it's not just going to be Mpox, not just going to be COVID. It's going to be many different diseases. And this is what many health experts are concerned with, is right now we have the ability to fight off specific diseases, right, individually. But what happens when they evolve and they mutate, and now they're more infectious? They're deadlier, right? What happens then? So, here's what I can tell you. Even though most people don't want to hear what the CDC has to say because of what they've said and told us and the lies and everything over the past, 3-4 years, I get that. It's the same thing with the World Health Organization. However, you still need to stay up to date on what's going on. Now, you may not believe them when they say go get the vaccine or here's how you protect yourself, and I get that. But at least listen to their warnings that, hey, this virus is now spreading in these states. This virus is now spreading in those countries. Because as more people start to migrate to the U.S. and then they spread out, it's going to also spread the virus around. So, I will leave you with that, but just understand, as of right now, that is all we know. So again, as soon as I know anything else, I promise I'll come back on and share all the latest news and updates. But as of today, that is really it. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.